Hello everyone and welcome back to Grow Leafy. It is the end of the year and I just wanted to spend time with you just to talk, just to reflect on this year, the different things that I have learned. There are 10 things that I learned and there was 10 things that I just really felt like I wanted to share with you as I reflect back on this year throughout gardening, growing food, cooking, and self-care. And so that's really what I want to get into today on Grow Leafy and share this with you. The purpose of this channel is to address growing foods, your own foods, and taking care of yourself, your self-care, because that is so important. There's only one you. And if we don't take care of ourselves, then it just makes life a little bit harder. And so it's so important to take care of yourself because there's only one you. And when your cup is empty and you're not full, it is so hard to help others. And I just find gardening as a way that is self-care to take care of yourself, but also rejuvenates yourself. And then also cooking the food. You gotta cook it. If you're gonna grow it, you gotta cook it so that you can eat it, so that you can feel better, so that you can take care of yourself and self-care. One of the first things that I just want to reflect on is building relationships. I have got to say, through this journey, I have met so many wonderful people that I would have never met had I had not started gardening. I have met so many people on Grow Leafy, in this community, through other pages, other gardeners in the community, and it has been so beneficial to me, my health, my mental health, and my growth as a gardener. So if you have not connected with any other channels or growing communities, join a group because it will be very beneficial for you to connect with someone else. We are not living in a society where we should be just completely alone. We should be able to connect with others, unify with other people so that it could help us to grow continually. So get connected with other gardeners or just other people that are interested. It will really help you as you're developing as a gardener. Next thing is to start simple. Simple, simple, simple. Don't overcomplicate it because it may become too overwhelming. Then you're wondering why it didn't work out. Well, you just did not have the time, the energy, the consistency, or motivation to maintain a large project. So start simple with simple steps. Maybe choose just a couple of your favorite plants that you would like to grow and just try that out. And pick some plants that have shorter growing times so that if you need to do it again within your growing season, you can do it again, all right? Because mistakes and failures do happen, but we grow from that. But if you start too large, too big, you may be discouraged. And that's why even if you're living in an apartment or if you just have a patio and you don't have a large backyard, you can still grow something. You can start even growing indoors. And I have videos on that too. So check out my YouTube page if you want to find out more videos on how to grow indoors. Your soil health is very important. And that was something that it took me some time, honestly, to really accepted that everything that I could be doing, that I'm thinking I'm doing well, it really boiled down to how is my soil? How is the soil balanced? What is the soil structured like? What is the pH? Does it have any organic material in it? Is there any other type of soil material that I put in there, like maybe even topsoil or just anything else to build the structure of that soil? I did a soil test this year and I found out just some really key information. Like I had too much organic material. I'm like, how is that even possible? Organic material is great. My plants are growing fantastic. What's the problem? Well, you know, the gentleman that tested it explained to me that, you know, you can have too much of a good thing. There has to be a balance. And even if you're feeling sick as a person and you have to go to the doctor, but I'm feeling great. But your test is showing me, your results are showing me that there's something else that's going on. So your soil health is really important. Test it out, find out what the balance is, what it needs, what it's lacking. It will really help your plants to do better. So work on your soil health if you want healthy plants. Foraging. I realize that I love foraging. It's not that I am an expert in it, nor am I even versed in it, but there are just a few things that I am learning how to forage. For example, black walnuts. So I love harvesting black walnuts. I love foraging them. And then also I was visiting in Canada and I was just walking through a natural forest, and I ran into some crab apples and they were just there and not being maintained or anything. But so I foraged that, and you know, and there's just other things that you can forage. And then that's an area of growth for me. But I just learned that foraging is awesome. There's so much food that's out there that we are not even aware of that we can eat. But you need to understand what you're foraging, because you don't want to forage and eat the wrong thing. But that is something that I did learn this year, is that I love foraging and I want to learn more. Garden to table, cooking the food that you grow. That is really important. It tastes so much better than the food that I bought in the stores. I just must admit, it's the truth. But I love cooking the food that I grow. Sometimes you grow so much though, you don't have the time to cook all of it. But that's why you can preserve it, you can freeze it, you can can it. There's a lot of things that you can do to preserve your food, and you can share it with other people if you have extras. There are so many benefits to growing your own food, and so cooking it is wonderful. It tastes good. It tastes so much better than the food that I bought in the store. So make sure that you're cooking your food. So many great recipes that are out there. Google them, they're online, but cook the food that you're growing. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know I love me some lemongrass. Lemongrass is the best. It is probably my favorite plant because it's so versatile. There's so many things that you could do with lemongrass. First of all, you harvest it, it smells good. You can use it as a tincture. I haven't made that yet, any kind of tincture, but you can do that. That is something that I do want to learn. But I make teas, medicinal teas. There's so much anti-inflammatory, antioxidants, immune booster, and calmingness when you drink lemongrass. Then you can also use it for culinary cooking. You can cook it in your foods. There's a lot of just dishes that you can use lemongrass for. But lemongrass also, oh, another thing, warding off mosquitoes, you know, things like that. But lemongrass is a wonderful thing. It's my favorite. And I noticed that a lot of people do love it. So if you haven't had a chance to grow lemongrass, try and find lemongrass, or try and grow it from seed, or try and see if you can find it in your area in early springtime or late springtime. Actually, is the best time to try and find it. Container gardening. Woo! I took that to the next level this time. I went out and I bought these large container pots, and I said, you know, I'm gonna try this out just because I already started like a big, large garden area, and I just said, you know what? There's so many people out there that don't have large garden spaces, and they grow in pots. And so I wanted to see how well I could do that so that I can share that information with you all. So container gardening is gonna be one of my to-go-tos because you can move it around, you can change it up, you can put aggressive plants that would take over your garden in the container, so it just has the area to grow in. But it's so versatile. There's so much you can do. And if you don't have a lot of gardening spaces, you can just put that on your balcony, on your patio. You know, you can grow containers, you know, put the container inside your house. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. I love container gardening, and I will definitely continue to do that. A next tip is, if you have not saved seeds, in 2024, please save some seeds. You don't have to save all your seeds, but save what you can. Saving seeds is so important if you want to really focus on sustainability long-term, where you have the autonomy to be able to start from seed and it's your seed. People, this is what we've got to do. We've got to save our seeds. And that is something that I really focused on this year, that I just wanted to start saving some seeds. I didn't save all of them. I didn't save a bunch, but I just saved a few. Like, for example, bok choy, played around with that. What else? Borage, I saved some seeds from that. And then there's other seeds as well, but saving seeds. Another thing is, with some of these plants that start seeding before they actually turn into the seed, you can even harvest that. Like, for example, cilantro. Oh my goodness, I saved the, I guess it is the seed, but coriander, Ooh, fabulous. I turned it into seasoning. So a lot of these things that you save, the herbs, the seeds, and these different things, you can even turn them into seasoning. And so that has been fantastic for me as well this year. So make sure that you save seeds, you save your herbs, you do a lot of things like this. I've saved so much money from buying seasonings this year. I rarely bought seasonings this year because I was able to save and make my own seasoning. Another thing I learned is that nature is not playing games. Nature is going to do what nature needs to do without the help of humans. I learned that these birds will plant the seeds for you. If you don't plant it, they will plant it. I was blessed to have a cherry tomato plant that was so lush, so healthy. I did absolutely nothing. The bird did it, planted it. And guess what? It was way better. I didn't have to put any bone meal, blood meal, no fertilizer, nothing. Didn't have to water it, did nothing. And it was producing so much fruit. And so what I learned is that sometimes when you just leave nature alone, nature will oftentimes do a better job than you. And so we have to allow nature to do its thing. And sometimes we really get in the way. But a lot of times nature will do what it is that we need for ourselves, and we'll do it even better. All right, so this thing really bothers me, but I know I have to accept it. But it's the pests that come with gardening, and it's the diseases. Oh my goodness. If I see another cucumber beetle, squash vine borer, see, I can't even say it. Squash vine borer, squash bug, what else? What else? You name it. What else do you see? What do you have in your garden? Oh, and then the powdery mildew. Whew, I'm losing my words today. But these things, downy mildew. Now, I really didn't have much problem with that this year. I really was careful with how I watered my plants to ensure that I wasn't getting powdery mildew. It wasn't until like the fall when we had a lot of rain that we were getting a lot of, that I did end up with that. But it was already at the end of the season, and it was when I started my fall garden. But these are some of the challenges that you will deal with. Now, if your plants are healthy, if your soil is healthy, then you will oftentimes deal with less of it. And they're attracted, they're there for a reason. So when these things come, they're telling us that there's a problem, or they're telling us that something's going on with the plant or our soil, and we need to dive deeper and look into it and to solve the problem that is happening. I had a ton of pill bugs in my garden bed. Now, I know pill bugs are there to serve a purpose, but it was more than it needed to be. And what it was telling me was that I had too much organic material that had not broken down. And so they were feeding on that and they were breaking it down, but they were also crawling onto my leaves and chewing it up. And so that problem was happening. So once I tested my soil, I found out that I had too much organic material in my garden beds. And so that really answered the question, like, oh yeah, I had to agree to that yes, I did have too much organic material in my garden beds. So I'm working on fixing that issue. But a lot of times when we have these pests or these insects, even if they're beneficial or not, if there's too much of them, it's telling us that there is something that's going on. All right, that's it. So I hope that these tips were helpful and that you would be able to walk away with something today, because those are all my takeaways for this year, these 10 points. If you have any tips that you would like to share with the Grow Leafy community, please go ahead and drop a comment. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, because in 2024, I will be having a lot of exciting informational gardening videos and just different videos about the whole experience of growing your own foods, taking care of yourself, and cooking the foods that you grow. But just remember to grow leafy, and I will see you all in 2024. Bye.